Welcome to Quiet Alchemy Space. I'm glad you're here. This is a safe space for you to connect or reconnect with yourself. What brought you joy, what brings you joy, and help you make intentional choices moving forward for this next phase of midlife. I'm hoping that you've found the second video after watching the trailer. If you haven't, I encourage you to go back and find my channel and look for the trailer because I really unpack the process that I'm about to lead you through in this guided journal prompt. This is going to be the first guided prompt, so it's going to be a lot of hand holding. I'm going to share my own responses, what value I found from the connection using the photo journaling process, and then after analysis, what I'm going to do with that information, and encourage you to try this process yourself. When you see me walk through this process, I don't want you to feel like this is the one right way to do it. There's lots of different ways, and in the video I'll share some different ideas or tips and tricks that I found when working with others who are doing this process that you might find valuable too. A quick note, in the notes I'm going to share a link to my website because there's a resource in the resources tab in the website where you can download a PDF that holds the first 3 prompts in this introduction series. It's really to kind of give you a taste of what this process can unfold for you over the coming weeks, especially before we get into more of a winter break and the holiday season. I'm going to introduce a 6 prompt series that's going to guide you through my factor framework. Another video coming specifically on the factor framework in the future, but for now you can browse and learn actually more about that on the website if you poke around. But do check out that link. There's a PDF. The PDF I've made to link so that when you download it, you can upload it into GoodNotes. That's its original intention. You can also print off the pages that you need. I encourage you to go ahead and download those. It's free and should give you a good indication of the process. Plus it has some information about my background and how this whole process supports midlife women specifically, but then how it works in general. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to introduce the prompt. In each of the videos, I'll read the prompt out loud, talk a little bit about why I chose and created this prompt and why it's either a starter in the middle and how I think it might support you. And so let's just get started. We'll get into this. The first one, and I'm going to read right to you, so pardon me with that. What activities once brought you joy or fulfillment that have quietly slipped away during these past few years? Which one calls to you to be reclaimed, if any, and why? So I'm not sure if it's the true experience for everyone, but many midlife women that I work with and have talked to, and being a 51-year-old woman myself, I can say for myself that over the years, as a mother, as a wife, just as a woman, I have had immense joys of being a mother and a wife and all of those things. But I think we often get so wrapped up into the life of those roles. And even if we don't have children, there's always, work to be done. We're often in service of others. And what I found is there tends to be kind of a disconnect. We just lose time for those little things that we enjoy. And I'm not really sure there's a fast way to get to this space when we get to midlife and we just kind of stop and think, is this what life is going to be like? I need more balance. And so this prompt is really to help you think back to those earlier days, maybe before you got so busy, before you have the roles that you have and the responsibilities, or some things that you really enjoyed. And go back as far as you want, when you were a child, middle school, high school, early adulthood, before the full onset of work responsibilities really took place. And just tap into that. Now it's time to look for photos that connect to the prompt. This step really allows what's coming up for you to be visible and present. You can either take photos with your camera on your phone or a regular camera, or you can scroll through photos you've already taken. I like to create an album so that whenever I'm looking for it, I can keep them in one place so I don't have to scroll back through and continue to find them. You can print them out or save them on a device to look at for your journaling. The second part, and if you are a journaler, this should feel really familiar to you, is just free writing about what comes up for you when you read the prompt or think about reclaiming joy. Look back at your photos, think about what's coming up, but you don't have to write directly about the photos. The photos are really just to help you center in what you are really focusing on, or bring to the forefront of your mind things that might be in subconscious. The same thing is happening here in your journaling. Just write freely, and the insights and the power comes in the analysis step that we'll do next. So I wanted to share a few paragraphs of my journal entry, just so you can kind of see how that unfolded and what some things were coming up for me. First of all, I started a little bit in my childhood. So I said, when I went back to childhood, I remembered a few things, but nearly all weren't relevant. I think what stood out for me was time. I often had loads of time to spend observing nature, walking, and paying attention to the sounds and sights and smells. It wasn't just stopping to glance. I would spend many minutes or hours observing, slowly engaging, and just fully experiencing my environment. I moved on to say, when I was a new teacher, I was lucky enough to join a full community of educators. We became a family so early, and those individuals really helped me build my identity. The journal analysis part of my process is a signature feature. It provides time for you to really unpack what you've written down beyond just the surface level. You can go a little bit deeper. So first, you're going to be reading the journal entry all the way through, just to get the gist of all the things that you've said. Then you're going to go back through and scan and look for words. There's not really a right or wrong way to go about this. It's just leaning into your intuition, circling as many words as you want. Although the more you circle, the harder the next step might be. So once you get to the end and you've circled significant words that mean a lot to you, go back in and now scan those circled words one more time and try to distill them into no more than 5. And when I say words, they can be phrases too. I find it's really challenging just to center on an individual word. So you'll see in mine, I would use 2 words or sometimes a 3-word phrase. If you've downloaded the free PDF or the PDF that you can write on within the GoodNotes platform, then this next step will be really easy. You're just going to record the words that were significant to you, the 5, and then take an opportunity to write them again on the space with lines, or do it on a separate notebook paper. Write those words down and maybe write 1 or 2 sentences that kind of expand on that key phrase or that key word. Like, what does it mean to you? What's its significance? Just so you can record that and document that for later. You see here, I have scarcity, I have part of, I have style and originality, and experience fully. And then keep track of all of your words from all 3 prompts in this series on another separate piece of paper. So it's a lot of different logging things down and writing them down and filtering them. But hang in there, because the beauty comes when you reflect. So again, we're just kind of building up towards noticing a pattern. This is kind of like a baseline and really leaning into what's coming up for you. So the insights are going to continue to come. Keep working through this process. Look for next week's video where we tap into energy patterns, and we're going to find out what we know about our reclaimed joy or things that we want to maybe bring back into our lives. Where do we have the time and space to do that? Where could we find the time? And that involves looking at some of our energy patterns within our week and within our day. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for letting me walk this journey with you. I'll see you next week.